I want to bring greetings. I'm Gary McCants. I'm the co-host of a podcast, Economic Liberation of Africa, and certainly want to welcome all of our viewers this morning. And I have the distinct honor and pleasure introducing certainly one of my favorite people, and I will call him a mentor. He is a pioneer in this industry as it relates to economic liberation of Black people all over the world. I want you to welcome me and greet Mr. Peter Greer. Peter, how are you this morning?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for the kind remarks. Let me tell you a little bit about myself so that our audience can get a bit of a feel about who I am and what it is that we're doing. I'm an 80-year-old semi-retired lawyer, and maybe 60 years ago, I was sophomore at Fayetteville State University and a participant in the Civil Rights Movement. I describe myself as an affirmative action lawyer. I'm a product of DEI and the 1960s Civil Rights Movement. Presently, I am serving as chairperson of ADDI, the ADDI chapter of North Carolina. ADDI is the African Diaspora Development Institute, and it's an initiative founded by Dr. Arikana Kwa, and its mission is the economic liberation of Africa. And I don't think that there is a better continent in the world to be liberated. So when I met Dr. Arikana, I didn't meet her personally. I have met her personally, but when I first became aware of who she was, I listened to many of her videos talking about the challenges of Black people in Africa and other parts of the world. And I decided, based upon what she was saying and what I understood that she meant, that I should join her and help her. And so one of the things that I did once I made that decision was to volunteer to chair the North Carolina chapter of ADDI. And I'm delighted that I did that, and happy that you have joined us.
So Peter, you talked a little bit about how you got involved with ADDI and Dr. Arikana. Talk about ways Greater Diversity News, which you own and co-publish, Greater Diversity News. Talk about how you support ADDI's mission.
Yes, thank you. My wife and I publish Greater Diversity News, which consists of a website, a monthly print edition, and lately we created a podcast of which Gary is my co-host. And what we're doing is we're doing articles and podcasts and really trying to make our community, make the public aware of what's going on in Africa with the understanding that unless our brothers and sisters in the motherland are economically free, neither will we be free. And one of the contradictions that I call the attention of our audience to is the fact that Africa is the richest resource-rich continent in the world. And it has the poorest people in the world. And of course, that's the result of years and years centuries of exploitation from slavery and colonization. And so when I saw what Dr. Arikana was doing to address it, I said, look, I believe in activism. I'm a 60-year activist. So why don't I join her and see how I can help? And one of the things I did in reflecting on the mission that we were addressing, well, I did a self-evaluation of Dr. Arikana. Didn't take long for me to conclude that Dr. Arikana, in my opinion, is the most consequential Black leader in the world since Martin Luther King here in America and since Kwame Nkrumah in Africa. And I say that because I want other people to reflect on it, because if you find what I found, then you should join the movement to help liberate Africa.
That's good information, Peter. You've also been a major supporter of Black students, whether they're at the HBCU or a predominantly white institution, but you've been a major supporter of students. Tell me what kind of role that students play in this effort in terms of ADDI and also the liberation of Africa through economic development.
Sure. The first thing I should say is that Africa is the birthright of Black students. And recently, I was watching a video. I watch videos about Africa trying to catch up with all the things that are going on. And of course, that's almost impossible. But during my video watching, I came across a video by an economist, and there are several economists that I've been following. But this economist said that in 40 years, Africa should and could look like China looks today, that it could move from a poor continent to a middle class continent with the same kind of investment growth as China had during the last 40 years. And so 40 years is a time period that is within the lifespan of our present day students. And so students that are in college or just looking for opportunities, you don't have to be in college.
Right.
You realize that if Africa is going to experience the growth that the economists say that it's going to experience, there are enormous opportunities for students to use Africa as one of their employment investment options, and really we have a worldwide network with ADDI, and we need the students to join it, because the students, as when I was in school, can do things that some of us as adults cannot do. And the students today should not just look to America for their future employment and opportunities. You look at Africa, the opportunities, and we talk about this in ADDI regularly. The opportunities that are in Africa are huge, and they are not blocked by the competitiveness that is a part of the American economic system. So any student that is looking for a future that may be a little bit off the beaten path should look at what's going on in Africa and use that as a part of the equation that they're giving consideration to and trying to plan for their futures.
That's a powerful piece, Peter. You touched on a little bit. You said something that was profound about Dr. Arikana being the most consequential leader since MLK. I want you to expound a little bit more on that. That's a real profound statement.
Sure, and I say that hoping that I'll be challenged on it, and of course the most likely challenges would be what about former President Barack Obama? What about Nelson Mandela? And my response is, look, Nelson Mandela and Barack Obama were monumental people in their own right. However, they were transitional leaders. They took us from one place to another place. Dr. Arikana, in my opinion, is transformative. What she is doing is changing the international landscape for Black people and changing it in a way that is long overdue. And so because she's transformative, I just think that she's the most consequential Black leader that I know of in the last 60 years. But be that as it may, that's what I think, and I hope people will reflect on that. And if they arrive at my conclusion, come in, help us make this happen. It's actually happening, and I can see it. Been watching this stuff for 60 years, and I can see the changes that are being made, and we just need more people involved. And I'll say this: we that have been educated, have received a better education and better economic opportunities as a result of the civil rights movement, have an obligation to give back to our communities. And so anyone that has done well because of the civil rights movement owes it to the cause to make sure that your people on the other side of the world benefit from some of what we've done. And I'll add one more thing. We Black people in America are the best educated Black people in the world. And for that reason, as one of the reasons, we should use that education to benefit someone other than ourselves. So I'll stop there.
Look, I can go on and on and on with you, Peter. I tell you, you and Kathy have you're carrying the torch, not just as it relates to the Black news and Black newspaper, which is just phenomenal in terms of the work that you all are doing, but just the continuous journey and impact that you're having in terms of liberating young African Americans, Black Americans, and people around the world in the United States and across the diaspora. And so we owe you a debt of gratitude for all the work that you and Kathy are doing. And so as we close this out, give us some closing remarks that we can all understand and be impactful with over the next journey as we all begin to create this partnership in Africa, the U.S., and people across the globe. Tell us a little bit about that in your closing remarks.
Well, thank you, Gary. And you do give me kind remarks. I'm not sure that I'm worthy, but I appreciate it just the same. There's nothing special. I think that as I recommend to Black students, Black people should look at where we are today as the beginning of another civil rights movement. Our last civil rights movement fell short in that we did not attain the economic equity that we desperately needed. However, with our focus on Africa and the resources that it contains, this civil rights movement will really move Black people to a higher level in the world, and certainly gain us a lot of well-deserved respect. And there are a couple of things that I would suggest, ask people to consider. The web address of ADDI is our ADDI.org. And I urge all of our viewers and listeners to go to ADDI.org and open up, become a member. Membership can be free if you're pinched. You have some money, of course, get a paid membership. But Dr. Arikana is representing, and I'll say this: there is between 1.7 and 1.8 billion Black people worldwide. And our objective is to represent them in all aspects of activism. One of the things another thing that a person should also consider is opening an account with OBT Social. That's Google OBT Social. OBT Social is a Black social media company and a partner of our efforts with ADDI. And lastly, I hope that some of our viewers will volunteer to be members, or I should say guests, on our podcast and give us their ideas about what they think we could do to speed up the process of the economic liberation of Africa. Additionally, I will urge all of our viewers to subscribe to our podcast channel, like our podcast, share our podcast, and help your family members and your friends become more aware of who we are and what we're doing and why everyone should be a part of it. And with that, I actually don't have anything else that I think I need to add. I think we've been sort of tight on our focus and on our time, and we don't want to go on longer than we need to.
Well, I tell you, it's been a privilege, Peter, to have this conversation with you, with all the work, the good work, the excellent work that you're doing, and continued success as we continue this journey, creating opportunities across the globe and the diaspora. So it's been my pleasure, and I look forward to continue work with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary, for all that you do. So with that being said, again, if you like what we're talking about, if you appreciate what we're talking about, please give us a like, subscribe to our channel, sign our notification bell, and leave some comments. We want to know what you think, what you suggest, because what we're doing is we're setting out to economically liberate Africa and Africans in the diaspora. And with that being said, I'm going to conclude this session and invite all back for our next session. Thank you so much.